From boardroom meetings to bedtime stories, Coffee in the Barn explores the delicate dance of balancing the demands of our professional lives with the joys and responsibilities of being moms. Join us each week as we discuss the latest trends in agribusiness, share insightful interviews with industry experts, and sprinkle in some heartfelt anecdotes about the humorous and heartwarming moments that come with being a working mom in agriculture. Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Coffee in the Barn. I'm your host, Morgan Hart, and alongside me is my co-host, Casey Bradley. As fellow agribusiness professionals, we're not just immersed in the world of agriculture. We're also navigating the intricate journey of motherhood. In today's episode, we'll dive into our personal stories, recount how our paths have crossed over the years, and uncover the compelling why behind Coffee in the Barn. So grab your favorite brew, settle in, and join us as we sip on insights, share stories, and cultivate connections. Welcome to the kickoff of Coffee in the Barn. I'm your host, Morgan Hart, with my co-host, the wonderful Casey Bradley.
Oh, I don't know so wonderful, but thank you, Morgan. We were just talking before we hit record, everyone, and this is our inaugural release of the new Coffee in the Barn. Obviously, I had it to focus on careers in animal science, but this is going to be the same thing, but we're going to take a different approach, and Morgan's going to lead it, and I'm going to learn to talk less. But we were just talking before we jumped on how you can't see us on purpose because when you're a mom, anything goes, and we have little Jace that you may also hear in the background. So we do have a guest. We can't forget him because he didn't want to sleep today.
Yeah, you can only be as prepared as you can be in motherhood, and sometimes they decide that they need to have a dance party at 5 a.m. and don't want to sleep, so that's just the way it rolls sometimes.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think being a mom's taught me that just to go with the flow a little bit more, where my OCD-ness, I had to have everything planned out, but at least now I am a little more adaptable, I think, than I used to be.
Oh, I would totally agree. Before I had kids, I was very, I would say, high-strung, I think people would describe me as. I was not the most patient person, and, that's, I guess, one of the positives of motherhood is it just has kind of helped well-round me a little bit more, help me loosen up and, enjoy the moment and not be as, you have to have patience with young kids that you're, teaching to do things and whatnot. And yeah, that's one of the positives I've taken out of motherhood. My house might not be as clean as I want it to be, but some days it's like that.
Well, I mean, my mom's at the stage of her life, her house is impeccably clean. I don't know how she did it when I was younger, but especially now because she doesn't have kids. And as soon as I clean something, the next thing I turn around and there's 20 Legos there. And I'm like, yeah.
Yep, you're like, oh, I'll clean it up when they go down for a nap. And it's like, what's the point? They're just going to destroy it 2 hours later after they get up.
Yeah, so take the nap, Morgan.
Well, kind of off topic, but that's how this podcast is going to go. It's good. We're just going to roll with whatever tangents we see fit.
We're going to try to stay focused, and we each have to hold each other back, but
yeah.
I think we should say this is a taste of what it's going to be like.
Yes.
But we wanted to give you a little bit more of a foundation in this first episode of this new program that we're putting together. So, Morgan, tell us a little bit about the why of Coffee in the Barn.
Yeah, so our why with this podcast is trying to create a network of like-minded ag business women who are also moms, and just kind of create that support system for us in the world, in the ag business space, as well as help to try to bridge that gap between balancing motherhood and work and all the fun stuff that comes with it.
And we're not going to exclude the women who have four-legged babies because I figure like they are moms as well, and just women in general in ag. But yeah, it's going to come from a mom-focused perspective, definitely.
And so with that, I kind of wanted to start off today with kind of just telling our story on how Casey and I met and how our paths have crossed numerous times over the years. So with that, Casey, you want to start kind of giving a little bit of introduction on who you are and what you do?
Yeah, who am I and what I do? It depends on the day. I'm Casey Bradley. I'm an older mom, so I didn't have my children as young as Morgan, and I only have one child, but I consider I have a household full of four-legged children. But someday we'll go in that story. It's not necessary today, but I have one miracle baby named Arthur. He is 8 years old now, in second grade. Been married to my husband for 15 years, Jason. He's a police officer, so our family's a little different dynamic, and I think Morgan has a National Guard husband, so I think she'll tell you that. So we connected on that level a little bit. I've been in agriculture ever before I was born. So the joke was, my mom was tired of being pregnant. It was really hot August, and she went on a three-wheeler ride with my dad in the sow pastures and bounced me out because that's how annoyed she was with being pregnant. So I could say pre-birth through, today, and I've had a multitude of roles in the industry. I have been a manager trainee farm manager for New Fashion Pork, student manager at Michigan State. Prior to that, I worked at a dog kennel in high school. In my professional career, I worked at the University of Arkansas as a research manager, so I managed the facilities, the students, and the animals, and all the research trials. And then I worked for Calmback Feeds, where I wore multiple hats. I did poultry and swine nutrition, so even though I went to the poultry nutrition school of the U.S. at the time, I didn't really do a lot of poultry nutrition work until I went to Calmback, and I ran a research program there. Got involved with all species, including frogs, as a nutritionist. Yes. Then I worked for AB Vista, and that's kind of where my path really changed of what I thought I wanted to do with my career and what the reality was or opportunity that I could do, right? So I got to travel the world, literally. I got to present in different countries. We were introducing superdosing phytase, and the U.S. was ahead of that one. And I did a lot of the initial work even when I was at the University of Arkansas and then at Calmback Feeds. So it was just a great fit for me to share my experiences with the world, and my friendships opened up everywhere. And then I had Arthur. I struggled with that work-life balance. I was traveling 80 to 90%, and we made a family decision that was probably not healthy. So then I went to Purina Animal Nutrition for a short jaunt, and yes, that did reduce my travel, but mentally I don't know if I was challenged enough in that role. But innovation position came up with DSM, and I was like, this is my dream job. I have all these ideas. I know the problems from the slat level up. It was a natural fit. Was going great. Working for the University of Arkansas, we didn't have the best facilities, so I knew how to shoestring or shoestrap budgets and get things done. Replacing slats on your own, building the barn, concrete work, never thought I would do in my career, right? So it was okay working on a shoestring budget, and I was really good at networking in the company and finding resources and to do fun projects. And, shareholders get involved in the board. They make decisions, maybe not always the smartest one. My position got cut. And look, now I'm with the Sunswine Group, my own company, and I cannot believe it's been 4 years. And I've done some amazing, cool projects. So the Real P3, which is pork producer inspired podcast, now I'm going to convert more to a monogastric approach. And then I started Coffee and Careers in Animal Science. And those are my two flagship endeavors. And now this is going to be my third one, Coffee in the Barn with Morgan. But Morgan and I met technically when I was at DSM.
Yeah, when I was in grad school.
And so I was mentoring Morgan before I did a formal mentorship program. So
I was your guinea pig,
but it was always a natural. And I guess Craig Wyatt was my supervisor at AB Vista. And he always said, extensions, like the perfect job for you. And who would have thought that I could use my passion of extension in my own business? And that's what I exactly do. I call I'm the professor without a university.
I like that.
So what's your story, Morgan?
it's interesting how you can, when you're in college or even when you're younger, you're like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. This is what I want to be when I grow up. But there's no direct path to where you're supposed to end up. Casey, you're a perfect example. You did some weaving in and out here and there until you kind of got to where you are today and where you wanted to be, I take it.
Oh, and I'm not done. There's going to be some more weaving.
Yeah. Don't imply you're done.
I have like 20-some years left for the Social Security retirement age. So I'm not done yet. There's going to be some more weaving and hills and ups and downs.
I hope so.
Okay, yeah. Background.
Little background on me. I just turned 30 this year. And my, endeavor, I always like to have a goal or a challenge for every year. And my goal for turning 30 was to run 30 miles. And so I completed 30 miles or a 50K on 50K is 31. So I just had to run the extra mile so I could hit the 50K. But I ran 30 miles on my 30th birthday. And if that tells you a little bit about myself, I'm always up for new opportunities and challenges. And that's kind of, that part of me has always kind of stood out within the different ag opportunities that I have presented with over the years. And so I did my undergrad in animal science, and I didn't grow up on a farm. I grew up just on my friends' hobby farms. My parents didn't have a lot of land, so we just raised like ducks and rabbits and for the fair, and I always had dogs and whatnot. And growing up, I would always bring home animals that my mom would have rather not had in the house, like the pet gerbil.
Like, that's like there. Yeah, my mom did not want that stuff in her house.
I was always the first one to volunteer to take home the class pet, and my mom did not like that. I would bring home, baby birds that had fallen out of their nest and try to bring them back to life. I found a cat the week before I was leaving for college. I found a baby kitten in the middle of the road and brought it home at 1 a.m. And my mom was like, that thing does not come in the house. And it crawled up into our car engines about 3 times over the course of 2 weeks.
And it probably didn't have a long life then.
We did not have the cat very long. And anyway, so as far as I got involved with pigs, I like to say pigs chose me. I didn't choose pigs because it was one of those paths that I never really thought about. Growing up as a little girl, people are like, well, what do you want to be? And I was like, well, I want to be a vet when I grow up. And I got to college and everyone was like, I'm going to vet school. And I was like, there's got to be something else. There's got to be other careers that you could do besides going to vet school. And I started working at the university research lab and got involved in biomedical research and using pigs as biomedical models for human research. And I really enjoyed the applied side of the agricultural world. And so that kind of, guided my path a little bit through undergrad and grad school, was working in a few different research labs. And I knew having the production experience was going to be important. So I did intern with Iowa Select for a little bit the summer before I graduated. And from that experience, I decided to continue my education at grad school. And now I'm a swine nutritionist. And I also am able to help play a role in our research facilities as well. And I really enjoy helping producers with whatever problems they might have on the farm. So I kind of get the best of both worlds of being able to provide tech support to our dealers and customers, as well as still being tied into the applied research. And I really, really enjoy that. And that's kind of where I thought I would end up. And, like you, I took a couple twists and turns there. I did a couple year and a half in sales, and then I was a farm manager for a couple years in between grad school and where I am today. And that's kind of my professional weaving and my route professionally.
What about your family?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about professionally.
I'm getting there. Personally, so my husband and I are high school sweethearts. We have a really good support system, and we still live, with 5 minutes from my parents and 10 minutes from his, live in the same town that we both grew up in. And I always knew at a young age that I wanted to be a mom. And my husband was like, I'm okay if we have kids or if we don't have kids, like whatever happens. I was like, well, we're going to have kids. It's just how many we're going to have. When we first started dating, I wanted to have 6 because I grew up in a family of 4. And then I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do 6. And then my husband's like, yeah, we're not having 6 kids. I was like, you're not the one that's pushing them out of you, but we'll see how it goes. And today we now have 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, almost 1. And I hope we'll have at least 1 or 2 more, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. And I think my career started, with the whole COVID thing. I am able to work from home, and I've kind of, after grad school, I was working on the farm and doing, but once I got into sales, it was kind of unique because I was able to work from home, and which really helped with the balance of, motherhood and work. And so I think that whole turn of events and the way I guess, how do I put it? The opportunity nowadays that's presented where you're able to work from home and, kind of have that flexibility is a lot different than it was, even 5-10 years ago.
No, I really agree. And, and this has been my passion. And also this podcast started through a symposium at Midwest Animal Science. It was funny that Morgan mentioned that. And I don't think she remembered that, it was the team behind Coffee and Careers that kind of put that together and focused on women. And what really shocked me was how many men were in the room for that symposium, like managers of women. And I thought that was really great because it shows how ag is changing. Our industry is open to new ideas. But I go back into my career and working on a farm, I still don't know how moms do it because you can't take your cell phones into barns, at least pig barns.
Yeah.
Cattle and other things, you can put them in the truck and drive them around or the tractor, and you see a lot of that Instagram and all that, but that's not a reality in the swine industry. And then I worked for Calmback, and I was expected to be there 8 to 5, even if I took calls in the middle of the night from the feed mill or, different things like that, or I had to weigh or feed chickens before work type deal for the research part. But I don't know if I could have balanced that. And I even know Calmback's a little bit more relaxed, and I think some of their employees have freedom to not be in the office all the time. But I actually don't have to have a physical office, but I choose to because as you can imagine, my house is not set up so well to work from home because I have 2 dogs. I used to have 2 cats, 2 rabbits, a son, and a husband that works nights. And anybody could come through the door any minute and it would just displace my thought process. So we decided a long time ago that renting an office was much cheaper than buying a new house. So that is the trade-off. So yeah, things are a lot different for working parents today. So that is the background of us. A little bit more on the why, right?
Yeah, I would agree with the, yes, it's nice to be able to work from home. I mean, I still would say I probably travel 30 to 40% of the time, but yes, so kind of going back to my husband is a crew chief.
Oh yeah, this is a good, really important.
So my husband enlisted in the Air Force when we were seniors in high school, and so he's been in for almost 12 years. And so he's been on deployments throughout college and whatnot, and after we got married, he had a unique opportunity that he's able to work kind of a shift schedule at the base. So he works 2 days on, 4 days off, and it doesn't matter if it's holiday or weekend. So that is good, but it also comes with its challenges because on days that he's home all day. And some days we don't have grandparents to watch the kids. So my husband is he works full time, but he's also a stay-at-home dad a couple days a week. And so yes, I have lots of interruptions throughout the day. And yes, my phone is always on and I will always answer it, but Sometimes I have to call you back in 5 minutes because I'm in the middle of feeding my toddler or cleaning up some mess that someone's created, or, just the things that happen when little kids are at home. And, for the most part, we balance things fairly well, but there are the occasional moments where you have to, just remember that you're a mom first, and you need to be a mom first. Your job I don't say your job will always be there, but a job will always be there, and no one can replace you at home.
I would agree, and that's been very hard for me to learn because I am a I'm just a driven person, right? It's just in my nature. I can't sit still. I have to be busy, but I also want to succeed. And to me, I had to change what that looked like a little bit. But I was also going to say that's what we also have a lot in common is Morgan has a stay-at-home dad. I would say my husband is very similar because he does shift work as well, and he works nights. We choose to work nights. He enjoys it. He loves the crime at night. He doesn't like the politics with all the brass during the day. So he prefers the night shifts. But that gives him the opportunity that if I have a meeting or if I'm traveling, he can get Arthur on and off the bus. He's home. Arthur's old enough now that he can just watch some TV or hang out quietly while Jason naps or, sleeps if he needs to. And so it's a really good balance and fit for us to make it work because we're both not traveling. But you have a great support with your parents there. I don't. So I'm one that my support network looks very different than yours. Mm-hmm. My families are in Michigan and Pennsylvania. So we use a friend and different babysitters to get by. And so I also try to balance my work around my husband's schedule because you can imagine paying somebody to stay with your son overnight is not cheap. So yeah, it's a balance that we try to do as a family together and, be a mom, take care of household finances and needs and work needs. So it looks different for everybody.
Yeah, and I think I would definitely, the support system, I guess, in my cases, there's no way both of us would be able to do our jobs and do what we do without the help that we have. And, there's gives and takes. And did my husband always think that he was going to be a stay-at-home dad? No, he did not. He was okay not having kids. But, I think it's one of the greatest things, being a mom, but also seeing someone who didn't necessarily think that he would enjoy fatherhood as much as he does. He might not say it, but I can see it. Like, he's on the floor playing with them all the time. Obviously with 2 kids and under 3 and 1, there's going to be fights. There's going to be someone having an accident in some shape or form, or there's always going to be, the challenges. But it just warms my heart watching him kind of mold into this father that I don't think he necessarily thought he was going to enjoy it as much as I see that he enjoys it. I don't know if he'll ever admit it, but that's when I really, really like seeing that.
And I have lots of friends in the industry that are moms or dads. And what I notice about the really successful ones and the ones that tend to stay together, it's a team effort. It's like that team, best friends, getting things done. Yeah, sure. Do I get upset that I have to pick up my husband's socks, on a daily basis and watch the Lego traps in my house? Yes, but, I wouldn't have it any other way because there's things that I do that drive them absolutely nuts too.
It's a balance.
It's a balance. And
it's a give and take.
My in-laws are down at the moment, and I said, my mother said, I don't know what kind of mom I would have been like at 25 and versus 35 when I had Arthur. And she goes, oh, you would have had a lot more energy and done more things. And I'm like, but I would have lost my temper even worse than I do today. So I'm grateful that I did wait a little bit from that perspective. Finances, can control my temper better, but he still knows how to push my buttons. I think we push each other's buttons. We're so alike, Arthur and I, personality-wise. But yeah. What else are we supposed to be talking about on this introductory?
How our paths crossed. You kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I think the first time we met was when I was in grad school and you were at DSM.
Mm-hmm.
And DSM did a lot of work with my grad school professor. And I think you guys came in for a product update or presentation or of some kind. I don't know if it was
a research update and then talking about the future. So John Bergstrom let me come along, which was really fun because it'd be an innovation and we wanted to do more things. So Dr. Crenshaw did a lot of work with Heidi and Kinky Back. Yep. So if you're not really in animal nutrition and stuff, and we'll get into some of these topics because we want to educate you from a different perspective as well. So we didn't say that up front. This is not just for ag moms. This could just be for anybody wanting to learn more about how their food's raised. Yeah. So we're going to have a variety of topics to where if you are in ag, it'll give you some talking points to use with your non-ag friends or colleagues that you meet and people in your life, I guess. But it's also going to be hopefully to pull people in that's not in ag to learn about cool people like us and be like, oh, they're real people. They have a heart. They care. But we're going to get into things like high D nutrition, vitamin D, sorry. And it's not called.
Yeah. And just to highlight some of the topics that we're going to discuss throughout the year is.
But it was all because of John Bergstrom that we met. So
yeah.
I have to give
let's
him
finish
credit.
that story first.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. But yes, John, thank you for introducing Morgan and I. But then we also met you were a farm manager and you weren't happy, so you reached out to me, I think, at that time, like, what's my next steps?
Yeah, I think I was just kind of looking, what's my next career move? I think I got some resume help, some interview, just kind of mentoring, professional mentorship help. And you just kind of helped me kind of navigate, okay, what do you like to do? Make a list. What do you like to do? What do you not like to do? Where do you think you might end up, or where do you think you might like to be doing? So I was just kind of at that part in my career where I was looking to move on to the next challenge and the next move. And then, we've ran into each other numerous times over the last couple of years at different conferences and have, I would say, made it a point to kind of touch base and stay in contact as our careers and lives have changed over the last 5 or 6 years. And then most recently, we just by chance got matched in another mentorship program.
Sponsored by Alltech, the WFA, Women, I can't remember exactly what it stands for.
Yeah, WFA, that's all I know. I can look it up.
Food and ag, I think. Women in food and ag. Something like that.
I think so.
I want to say, women is the future of ag, but no, I think it's food and ag because I've met some really cool people that work on the food side. So very, very interesting program. I love it. And I said, well, yeah, I've already mentored Morgan and this would be great. And they're like, well, we could change. I'm like, oh no, I know Morgan.
We already have an established connection.
Yeah, this is going to be easy for both of us. We know we can be
brutally honest. And we're both going to exceed in our different mentee-mentor roles.
Well, and here's the secret about mentoring. It's not all about giving back because I've found that I always learn and grow myself. So if you're on the fence of wanting to mentor either in a formal or informal capacity, I highly recommend it because you'll grow professionally as well. But see, tangent, got on my soapbox. Sorry.
WFA, Women in Food and Agriculture.
Okay.
Confirmed,
yes. But Morgan wanted to work on her technical presentation skills and that's
public speaking. Yeah, that was one of my goals for the program. Yes, and just kind of overall.
Morgan's a good presenter. I don't really have to teach her a lot. There's some things she's got to tweak and she's got to learn to be more comfortable in her skin. Because I've also noticed on doing podcasts now that once you hit the record button, people change. They're not as relaxed. It's like, oh no, I got to be careful what I say. And especially if I work for a company, what am I allowed to say?
That's what editing's for, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't try to edit too much because it's like takes out the human.
I hope you'll be editing some of my tangents.
We will be editing. This is a we program.
let's hope that, well, this first one is just jump start.
It's a jump start, yes. But we want you to feel like you're part of this conversation because we chose not to do video because it's 6 a.m. recording times and we have a dance party going on in Morgan's house with a milk craze, it's the new hot topic drink of the toddler stage. And we have our really strong brewed coffee to get us through the day. Both Yeti, well, mine's not a Yeti cup today, but normally I have a Yeti cup. But this is... Yeah, so normally I have a Zimpro Yeti cup, everybody. We'll see if you have videos of me or you're on calls. And I said, let's start charging Zimpro money to drink out of their coffee cup, but it's a Yeti cup. But today I'm fashioning my own cup, the Sunswine Group. But no big deal, you can't see it. But yes, we are coffee. We don't necessarily work in a barn every day, but our house is our barn. My office is my barn. I have feed samples. I have packaging. I have boxes of ingredients. I have scales. I have sharps containers, if you looked at my background. So it is a barn. But we are here to help Morgan grow, but also have fun and do some outreach. I've been wanting to do more of this. So I went through significant woman training this year at church. And with that, I had to create a mission statement, and I don't really have it totally mapped out to where it's really good to say it, but it's creation. It's helping people go from surviving to thriving. And so in agriculture, you can look at that, what we're trying to do for food security in third world countries, in my mind. But I also look at that, what we're doing as two professional women examples for other women in our industry or parents. Let's take the gender off of it and make you feel like you're not alone. That it's okay to have these concerns, these questions, this guilt, this imposter syndrome, different things, because we're going to keep it real, even though we're not on the real P3. It's the coffee in the barn, but it's going to be real conversations. And I'm trying to fill in the gap. I know I promised not to talk too much, but Jace is having other ideas at the moment, so we have to improvise.
No, it's all good.
Is there anything else we needed to wrap up on, awesome organizer?
I don't think so. Our podcast will be coming out every week.
Yeah, we hope.
We hope. That's the goal. The goal is to have a new podcast every week.
You need to adapt, okay? So if it's not quite every week, you get
maybe
why.
It'll be 2 in 1 week because we have so much to talk about.
Well, this was supposed to just be 30 minutes and we're at 45 minutes. So,
hey, we're already overachievers.
Woohoo!
Hey, it's a great way to start a morning.
Oh, it is. And I'm energetic. I'm going to do some dance moves here. Chase, look at me. Can you see? Whoop, whoop. Oh, you can't hear because
he's like, I'm ready to go back to bed now.
Me too.
Because I've been up for the last 3 hours.
But anyways, welcome to the Coffee in the Barn. Join us. Pick your morning that you want to listen to this. Grab your coffee and just laugh with us. And maybe take a little bit of seriousness in this conversation. But we want to make you smile. We want your day to start off great. So have that cup of coffee. We're going to try to post them on Monday mornings so you can start your week off with some fun, exciting tangents that we go down.
Yeah. I think I'm very excited to get this started. Yeah. I don't say I'm at a loss for words because that doesn't usually happen.
I'm just excited that I'm creating, and I hope I change one person's life. That's all that matters.
I think that, being a young mom I think based on my perspective, Casey was kind of the first female role model, mentor that I kind of was like, hey, she's a mom in agriculture. Like, you don't see, at least when I was in grad school, a lot of the professors were males. And I did have a couple really, really good female role models that I could look up to and that I worked for. But I would say 80% of them were males. And Casey was kind of that first person that I saw working in a tech support role that was a mom and doing it all. And I was like, hey, I want to be like Casey.
And you soon realized that it's messy behind the scenes.
It's very messy. It's very messy, but that's what keeps it fun. If every day was the same, like, I would be bored.
I know, but just people that meet me at conferences or different things, if you're a younger person listening to this and you think I have it all together, it's a lie.
So you were just putting on a front?
No, I was getting the job done.
Yes. Yes. But I just wanted you to know that. Like, I've always seen you as a
so awesome.
role model, and, you know, there's been multiple females throughout my career that I've found and have kind of helped also fill that role, but you were kind of the first one. One of the first ones.
Well, thank you. That really, wow. But I would say you're one early in my career, or not early in my career, early in my journey of wanting to start coffee and careers. You are one of those people who inspired that program. And because of that, that's why it's so exciting to start this new chapter of Coffee in the Barn with you, Morgan. So thank you so much. And I'll let you sign off.
Well, hopefully you guys will tune in next week to hear what the next topic is. Mm-hmm. And hopefully kids will stay asleep.
You should tell them what the plan is.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
We're not starting off yet.
No, so as we all know, January is very much about, you know, everyone's wanting to set their new goals for the year. And
thank you for using goal. So the resolution.
Yes. Well, everyone uses resolutions. We're going to be
talking about success. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, January is, everyone's like, oh, it's a new year, new me. Yeah. I think it's a little bit more achievable if you can set goals for yourself and kind of set your intentions for the year. Smart goals and intentions for the year. So that's kind of our January theme is going to be around goal setting and being intentional and topics pertaining to that.
And with that, I have been working on a 90-day challenge for goals. It's going to be like a journal workbook program. So it's going to go with January. So keep an eye out for either the ebook, and I got to figure out with Kindle on how to get that published on demand if you like print copies. So working on that.
I look forward to seeing the completed.
Yeah, I'm already behind schedule. So.
Well, you got to wake up again at 5 a.m. and get going.
New year, new me. 5 a.m. Here we go.
So that'll be the next couple of weeks. We'll just kind of be talking about goals and intentions, and you know, then every week we'll kind of be talking about different, I don't want to say hot agriculture topics, but educational agriculture topics, and possibly throwing in some not mom drama, but
please don't say
mom
drama.
Feedback. I don't like drama.
I'm not a drama.
Mom stories or challenges that we have as moms that might pertain to said topic, such as biomedical or non-GMOs.
Yeah.
Non-GMOs, or how do we feed pigs, but how do we feed our kids?
Yeah. Pigs are models for humans, so yeah. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. And it's just a positive.
Chase is a downer, man. He's like, took the energy down with that dirty diaper boy.
I still got energy.
No, I'm just kidding. But yes, we don't want to end on a low note. It's full of packed fun. We're going to try to keep the curse words out, because if I do that...
We're family friendly.
Yeah, family friendly. But it's a work in progress, and I get either very angry or very passionate. It comes out. So I'm going to try not to, because obviously we have very important people that are joining us on the calls. So.
And they repeat everything.
And then some. Yes.
And then some. With that,
it's going to be fun. With that,
we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
As we wrap up our inaugural Coffee in the Barn chat, we thank you for joining us on this journey. As two working moms deeply rooted in agribusiness, we understand the challenges and joys that come with balancing professional and family. Stay tuned for our upcoming episodes, where we'll delve into setting ambitious yet achievable goals and explore strategies for growth in 2024. Together, we'll navigate the exciting world of agriculture, fostering a community where empathy, science, and passion for our industry thrive. Until next time, keep sowing seeds of success and nurturing your dreams. Remember, every big achievement starts with the courage to grow. See you soon.